So get out your science books. There we are. We're on page 174. The respiratory system. Every living thing needs oxygen to live. Oxygen is the air in the air around you. Your lungs help you breathe in oxygen you need. You have 2 lungs in your chest. When you breathe in, a muscle at the top of your rib cage pulls down, and that muscle is called the diaphragm. When your diaphragm pulls down, it gives more room for your lungs to fill up. Then your lungs can be filled with air. When you breathe in, your lungs expand like a balloon. Air flows into your body, and when your diaphragm muscle pushes up, it helps push air out of your lungs. When you breathe out, your lungs shrink and air flows out. Your heart and your lungs work together. Your heart pumps blood to your lungs. There, the blood picks up oxygen. The blood vessels carry it to all parts of your body. Once your body uses the oxygen, other blood vessels carry the blood back to your lungs. There, the blood picks up oxygen and the cycle starts again. You breathe about 20 times every minute. Exercise is a good way to help your heart and lungs stay strong. And there's a picture of the boy there. See how big his lungs are? They're very big, aren't they? It gives him lots of good, nice, deep breaths. It gives him the ability to have a lot of oxygen into his body. Tomorrow we're going to read about the digestive system, and I want you to go ahead and get out your Mr. Bones here, and let's continue with what we've been talking about in our bone area. Let's go with number 11. Number 11 is the pelvis bone. It's 2 flat bones right here, very similar to the scapula, which is your backbone. These are flat bones, okay, but they give strength to the bottom portion of your body. Okay. So your pelvis is right there. There's 2 big flat bones that gives shape and, gives strength to your body. Every once in a while, an older person will fall and break their pelvis, and sometimes in a car accident. And there's no way to really wrap it or bandage it, so to speak. And so it takes them a long time to get better. Okay. Number 12 is phalanges. Now look to see how you spell it. You see it there. Okay. Phalanges. Phalanges. And the phalanges are your fingers. And there's lots of bones actually in this. I just kind of called them all, we kind of grouped them together. Okay, your phalanges are right there. I think there's about 14 different bones in your phalanges, but the phalanges are your fingers, and your fingers are your hands are very interesting in the fact that you have an opposing thumb. Some animals do and some animals don't, but the opposing thumb allows you to be able to grasp. So like when I grasp this flashlight, my thumb's on this side and my fingers are on that side. So it allows you to grasp. Whereas if you don't have a thumb, there's no way to pick up that flashlight, Okay, well, kind of like that, but, it's hard. So the Lord gave you a thumb. Thumb is very, very important. Helps you to be able to function properly. Okay, let's go down to number 13. It's the biggest bone of our body. It's called the femur. Femur. The femur. It's this big bone right here. And usually this bone is strong. It's kind of like your humerus bone right here. It's a strong bone. It's a thick bone. It's not I can't say it never gets broken, but if you've broken your femur, that is a serious break. I guess maybe you could if you were snow skiing or if you were in a wreck of some sort, but oh my, that would be really serious. Okay. That femur right there is a strong bone, powerful bone, lots of muscles hooked to it, and you know how hard you can kick, so you can imagine that femur, that bone there is helpful for strength. Okay. Number 14 is your kneecap. known as a patella. P-A-T-E-L-L-A. Your patella is your kneecap. There's not much fat on your kneecap, you know, and I think that's why it hurts so much when you fall on your knee, because there's not much padding, there's not much, sponge, and so when you fall, and I get things like roller skating or things like ice skating, and you fall on the ice and you hit your knee, and it just plain old hurts, because there's not much bone. I mean, there's only bone. There's not much fat on there, so there's not much cushions. It's not like falling on a nice soft pillow. So your patella, and of course your patella is constantly getting used by your walking, your running, and so forth, and sometimes when people get old, their patellas wear out, or they've injured them through the years, and they've had to go and have a knee replacement. And they have some pretty amazing things out there that they can replace your patella. Another kind of replacement is also one of these hip bones up in this area, where they actually replace it. And one of the teachers of Valley Christian that used to teach second grade years ago, she said once she got that hip bone replaced, it felt so good she just couldn't even believe it. And she could run and walk, and so pretty amazing what the doctors can do. All right, number 15. At 15 and 16 are kind of twins. They're in the bottom part of your leg. There's two little bones, just like there are two bones up here. There's also two bones right there. And they're called the tibia and the fibula. And the tibia is over on number 16 over here. So it's T-I-B-I-A. And it's the fatter of the bones. T-I-B-I-A. And the fibula is the skinnier of the bones. And it's F-I-B-U-L-A. Tibia fibula. Now, of course, you're not going to be tested on this. So, but if we were in classroom, you would have been tested. And the way you kind of can tell those apart, lots of times these are the bones that get broken. Like if somebody's got a broken leg, they call it, they got a tib fib. In other words, one of those small bones has been broken. And so, I don't know if you've ever heard this terminology, but sometimes when people tell a lie, that's like maybe part of the truth, but not the whole truth, that kind of thing, they call it a fib, because it's a little lie. Now, to God, lies are lies. But in humanity, people say, well, that's just a little fib. Which means I didn't really tell you all the truth. I just told you the part I wanted you to hear. Well, a fib is like a little lie. Well, the fibula is the little bone. That's how I remember it anyway. The fibula is the little bone, and the tibia is the fatter bone. And, and because the fibula is just a little bone, you want to protect it. And that's why when you play soccer, you have a shin guard. Because you don't want to get kicked in your tibia or your fibula. And you certainly don't want it broken, but you don't want it even injured. So you wear guards because you want to take care of your bottom portion of your legs. And the last one we have, number 17, is the metatarsals. There, I'll hold it. See if I can hold it still enough for you to see. Meta, M-E-T-A, tarsals, T-A-R-S-U-L-S, metatarsals. And the metatarsals are your foot bones, and there's lots of foot bones. We just kind of clumped them together, okay? There are many. I think if you had to study all of them, it would take us a long time to learn all of the bones of the foot. Pretty amazing how the Lord has made your foot work. It is able to flex it always, and without you, falling down or losing your balance. So your metatarsals are absolutely important. Clear down to your baby toes. Your little toes are so important. If you remove one of your toes, if it was have to be removed. There was a boy in my college who had no toes, and he walked very strange and could not, of course, could not run because he had no ability. He could walk, kind of, but walk very haltingly. And I can't think if he used a cane or not, but anyway, your toes are important. So every bone in your foot is important. In fact, every bone in your body is actually important too. So there we are, Mr. Bones. 17 beautiful bones of the body, and they're called your skeleton, and they hold you all together. And we'll see if we can have a little quiz on this. It's not a spelling quiz. It's just going to ask you some questions and see if you paid attention to the videos as we were kind of going through. So don't spend too much time studying, but you might look at them and kind of know kind of where everything kind of is. Okay? All right. And that quiz won't be in probably until tomorrow. Yeah, probably tomorrow on Tuesday. Okay? All right. Bye-bye.